The Alabama Eviction Notice. What is an eviction notice? Eviction notice, or notice to quit, is a letter sent by the landlord to the tenant notifying them that they should either take or stop a certain action or vacate the rented premises. Eviction notice can be of two types: conditional, when a tenant is given time to remedy the breach of the lease, or unconditional, when a landlord terminates the lease without any alternative options for a tenant. What should an eviction notice include? Information about the tenant and the landlord. The reason for sending the notice. The date by which the tenant should take or stop a certain action. The consequences of non-compliance. The date and way of notice delivery and the landlord's signature in the form of certificate of service attached to the notice. How to evict a tenant in Alabama. The non-payment notice. The Alabama law does not set a grace period for leases in the state, and they should be addressed in contracts. If the tenant fails to pay rent, Alabama law requires the landlord to give them a notice to either pay or quit. The landlord has to wait no less than 7 business days after the notice delivery before terminating the contract. Non-compliance notice. If the tenant violates other terms of the lease, the Alabama law sets the same 7-day notice period that should give the tenant a chance to correct the issue. The landlord can also send an unconditional 7-day notice to quit if the tenant violates the lease 2 times within 12 months, or is engaged in illegal use of firearms or drugs. What if the tenant fails to comply? If the tenant fails to pay rent due and associated fees or remedy the violation, the landlord can file a lawsuit to evict them with an Alabama circuit court in the district in which the property is located. The filing fee ranges from $200 to $300 depending on the county. Then, the tenant must be served with a notice about the lawsuit by the court at least 6 days before the return date of the process. The tenant will have 7 days to file an answer with the court in case of eviction without a money claim, or 14 days in case of eviction with a money claim. If the tenant does not file an answer or attend the hearing, or if the landlord wins the case through the hearing, the court will issue a writ of execution. It is automatically stayed for 7 days, giving the tenant time to move out on their own before the local sheriff comes to forcibly remove them.